Listen, boys, as a gamer and as a person, because I may be a tiny YouTuber, but I am a gamer and I'm a person. So I feel as if I could give my opinion on games and how I would review them. So today I'm going to be reviewing a game. It is called, hold on, you'll see it right there. Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors. Sorry if I don't have the sorry, don't question me, okay? Don't don't say anything. I don't have a capture card for this, but okay, hold on. Stop. Sorry, I'm trying to rack my brain. Anyways, the game I'm gonna review today is called Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Now, let's start with the basics. Do I like the game and how would I recommend if I would recommend it to people? The game, it's great so far. I've had a ton of fun playing only the demo. In fact, the full game comes out on the 20th of November, if you could believe it. So, how would I recommend it? I recommend if you like Zelda and you like those sort of beat 'em up games, because this game it's a little different than the other kind of game than the original Zelda. But how if you like if you kind of like it's like an RPG sort of. If you like RPGs and upgrading systems, or at least upgrading characters and their abilities, then would I recommend it? Yes, it's a great game in that department. Now, let's go on to my personal opinions. Now, my personal opinion is going to be into three things. The weapons, which only so far I've seen a couple. The characters, again, only a couple. And the story and cutscenes. Now, right off the bat, I love the cutscenes and the dialogue. It's great. The characters, oh my god, dude. So you know how we only saw the older versions of the Sheikah clan, Impa, uh, Robbie, and such. Yeah, well, guess what? We get to see them during the rule of Hyrule. Yep, that's right. When Hyrule was still in power, we get to see them all young and not old and wrinkly. And that's crazy. Now, the characters, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty smooth. The cutscenes, they're great. The story so far, it makes it's a little overbearing, or at least not overbearing, but it it gets weird kind of quickly in the beginning parts. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it, but in the beginning cutscene, it gets weird. But after that, it slowly starts to make sense. Well, sort of makes sense, and we're introduced to you know, sorry, had to do something, had to charge my laptop. But anyways, as I was saying, we're introduced to young Impa, young Robbie, and well, tons of other characters. Well, at least in the beginning, we see the king, we see Link at the time when he was a knight and not the champion, and well, yeah, that's it basically for the demo. But the full version, will probably see a young, you know, a lot younger characters. Sorry, had to grab something. But anyways, we'll see probably like the champions before they became the champions, of course. But it's good. I like it. Now, the gameplay. The gameplay, it's great. The gameplay is awesome. I had a ton of fun using the weapons, the abilities, and personally the differences in the characters. Now, I'll get into that in a later bit when the spoilers are done. Now, this is the spoiler list. You're not getting any spoilers, of course, except for the characters, because sorry, spoiler warning. Yeah, we see the characters. We see a young Impa, we see a young Robbie, and we see the sister of Impa. I forgot her name. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been to that place in Breath of the Wild in a long time. Now, let me get onto the abilities or the weapons and things like that. I forgot about that part. Now, the weapons, they're okay. There's not a lot of them. I think in the demo at least. There's only I only got two types of weapons. I'll get to different abilities in a little bit. So I got a sword and a branch for Link. I got this kind of different weapon for Impa, and for Zelda I got a Sheikah Slate, which makes sense. Zelda likes the Sheikah Slate. Impa is a part of the Sheikah tribe, and Link is a knight at this time, so he gets a soldier's broadsword and things like that. Now let me get into the abilities, characters, and gameplay. Now this is a spoiler bit. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. If you haven't played the game and you want to get it firsthand, I'm not gonna spoil the cutscenes, or I'm not gonna spoil the levels. Hopefully, if you do find out a little bit of the gameplay, the levels, I'm sorry. Anyways, in this game, Link is of course a soldier, so he has the typical slash attack, the typical just strong attack. He throws a sword around him in like a circle, a spin attack. Anyways, and then Impa, as a part of the Sheikah tribe, she can teleport sort of, but she can do this weird thing. She can make duplicates of herself that can also do damage and do most of these attacks. Now these attacks are awesome. I like them. The gameplay's fun. And then Zelda, being loving the Sheikah Slate so much, her gameplay's a little weird, but I wouldn't expect it. But it's great. At this time, she hasn't unlocked her powers yet, so she doesn't have a lot of that ability in sealing the darkness. But she does come in handy because she has the ability to use the Sheikah Slate's powers like ultra fast. You know, cryosis bombs, cryosis. Sorry. Cryosis, bombs, stasis, magnesis, all the such. And it works out with her because we know she loves the Sheikah Slate and studying the Guardians. So it works out for her character. Now, I haven't gotten that far into the game. It's only the demo, only released right now. The full version's coming out November 20th. If I can, I would get it, but I'm broke at the moment. But yeah, that's like the gameplay is great, the cutscenes are great, the characters are great. But the story, it's a little iffy in the beginning, if it's possible, but I'm not gonna say that. Now, the enemies. Oh yes, the enemies. I'm not gonna give too much into them, mostly because I can't comprehend them, or I can't really express it into words how cool they are, but they are amazing. Now, let me give you some information about a different sort of ability. So, or the enemies. So, you have your normal enemies. You got the bokoblins, the blue bokoblins, moblins, the lizard things. I don't know how to say their names. But you also have these other things. You have the magical wizard dudes, they were able to spread ice, fire, lightning. But yeah, these are the things I want to talk about. Now this is spoilers. Spoiler. All that spoiler. When you kill these three elemental people, or these three elemental guys, something happens. They drop a certain item. Yeah, you know what the item is. The item is their very wand. The wand that spreads fire, lightning, and ice. But before I get into that, I'm going to explain something else about the enemies. I'm going to get into these little wands in a bit. Now, the enemies, they're spread into two types. The fodder, the regular enemies that you just instantly annihilate, the bigger enemies that are a little tougher to deal with, and then you get like these bosses, semi-bosses, and then most likely bosses. So, the regular enemies, they're tough. They're not that tough, but there are many of them. But with the abilities you get in the beginning, they should be no trouble. In fact, you should be dominating them. Now the bigger ones, now these guys, they're a little tough, but they're not that tough. Now, I mean, the only visual difference is that they're bigger, but yeah. Anyways, let me get into the semi-bosses. The semi-bosses are like huge bokoblins, moblins, and those wand dudes, wizard dudes, however you call them. I don't know. I forgot. I haven't played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in a bit. I get back into that. Who knows? But yeah. Now these semi bosses, they have some interesting mechanics to them, as you know, as well. You don't know, but they're weird. So automatically they're huge. Second thing they have is a sort of shield thing. Now this shield thing, you attack him, you attack him. Their shield slowly breaks, and when it's broken, you can do this finisher. It's gonna play an animation. You basically one-shot the thing, and then, well, the objective is done. You kill the thing, the objective is done. Now you get, of course, before I get into that, the objectives. Well, one of the objectives would probably be to destroy this enemy, or this particular enemy. Like destroy the moblin, destroy this, destroy that. Defeat this, defeat that. But these enemies are tough. I should know. I play the game. But yeah, these enemies are tough. Are they impossible to beat? No. No, they're not. Will you die to them? Maybe. The beginning ones, they shouldn't be too hard, but the later ones probably will be hard. I had a little difficulty with one of the levels. I'm not gonna say it, but it was hard. I died once. Listen, I'm a gamer. I don't die often. One death. That's all I had in that game. Not gonna lie. No cap. It was fun. Of course, then again, I was on easy mode, but hey, don't judge me. On more difficult difficulties, of course, it's going to rank up the power skill. You're gonna be a little weak. You're gonna be what am I saying? The enemies are gonna be a lot tougher than, well, the version I played, which was in easy mode. Don't judge me, okay? Please, 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 please. Sorry. Anyways, yes. So, the gameplay is awesome. Everything about the game is awesome. Now, is there problems I have with it? Sort of. There is this one issue that I noticed, but who knows what happens. I haven't played the full game. I don't know if they're gonna fix it, if they're not gonna fix it. But one system I found that was pretty weird was the healing abilities. Now, I'll get into that in a little bit. Now, the wizard wands, as I said. So this is the thing. So when you kill the wizards, they drop their wizard wands, the fire wand, the lightning wand, and the ice wand. Now, these specific wands have different abilities. Of course, one is fire, one is ice, and one is lightning. Now, let's talk about the fire wand first, since that's the first I got. So, there's going to be this extra menu, or this extras like slots. There's 3, maybe 4 of them. There's 4 of them, yeah. Now, one will be for each of the wands. Now, let's talk about the fire wand. The first one, of course. The fire wand has the ability to just bombard the enemy with fire. It has a sort of big radius. And when you bombard them with fire, they of course burn to death and will basically just die instantly. And you could use this attack maybe a couple times, and to recharge it, you'd have to kill another one of those guys, because then it would drop another one, or at least a refuel, sort of. Now the ice wand. Now the ice wand was a little different than the fire wand. Of course, it just bombarded the enemy with ice and froze them. Now the lightning one, it was a little different. It did lightning damage, and possibly would have made them drop their weapon. though I wasn't so sure because not a lot of the bokoblins had their weapons. In fact, they threw them at me. So, bruh, you know. Anyways, that's them done. So, how do they get? How are they? They're great. I like to use them a lot. My favorite's the Firewand. It just bombards the enemy with fire, and fire does fire damage. So, if anything walks into that area, it's going to burn and probably die. So yeah, that was fun. Now, let me get into the other thing that I was talking about. Hold a minute. Okay, I found out what I was gonna say. Well, it's a little different. Level design. How do the levels look? Are they okay? Do they work well with the environments? Or do they look trash and completely just bad? They're fine. They're great, in fact. In fact, the first level you play in. Now, this is spoilers. This is spoilers. If you don't want to hear about the first level, just skip ahead. How far into it? I'm not sure. I'm ranting. But maybe skip like 3, maybe 4 minutes ahead. If not, uh, I'll try to make it short. Maybe at 18. Okay. So skip to 18 and we'll probably talk about the next thing. Now, the first level. The first level, I had a lot of fun in it. The first level was great. I mean, now, yeah, that's all I have to say, but let me talk about about the level. So, the level was placed in Hyrule. Well, the kingdom of Hyrule. So, you had your castle, you had the kingdom, just town, a lot of buildings, a lot of shops and things like that. Fountains, it was pretty okay. The level design, it was great. Now, in the first level, of course, the objective was to defend it because we were being attacked by a couple goblins and all these different creatures. So, the first level of Hyrule, it's great. It matches up with the game. A lot of but it does lack in some things. The town is a lot bigger than in the game because in the game, of course, it's run down and broken up, but the town does seem kind of small in the thing and the walls. But you know, there's things that are new, or things change, or maybe the original one was bigger, but I just never noticed. I'm dumb brain sometimes. Who knows? Anyways, Hyrule, Hyrule Castle, great level. I loved it. It was honestly just fun to find. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm in Hyrule. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. It was great. You're back. Okay, good. Now, let's talk about the map because it's also a great part of the game. So after the levels, you'll be put into the map, in which case you could do 2 things, or maybe a couple things. So number 1 is go to a new area and fight. Simple enough. Number 2, you could supply people with items. Now you get these items by killing mobs, maybe gathering resources from chests, which you won't get by completing an objective, maybe killing an enemy. So yeah, that's how that goes. Now when you provide these items, you'll get something in return. Like one demonstration is an extra heart for your characters. Well, one of them specifically. It's targeted. So yeah. But you will get these trophies for killing these certain mobs. And sometimes these people will say, if you give me like this certain amount of them, I'll give you a boost or an upgrade to your character, which is great. Sorry, had a burp. Sorry. Anyways, yes, you give them the supplies they need, and basically they give you an upgrade for your character. Now the second thing, or the third thing. There's a blacksmith, in which you can fuse items together to make these items stronger, like weapons. That's the one I got. So I fused a lot of the swords I got from one of the levels into one sword, and it was pretty great. I was destroying enemies in like 4 shots. Just pow 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 pow, gone. Now let's talk. Okay, that's easy enough to understand. Now let's talk about a different one, or a different sort of thing, and that's the Sheikah Slate. So if you don't want to any spoilers, well, it's not really spoilers. You'll probably understand what it means, anyways. So there's 4 abilities, as you know: magnesis, cryosis, stasis, and bombing, or remote bombs. The remote bombs, as you know, they're bombs. They explode. You just throw them, they explode. But this can be used in different ways. Now, if you don't want to hear about the abilities they have, well, if you do, continue listening. If you don't, just skip ahead. I won't go too far into it. So, yeah. So for Link, he'll just throw them. Just boop, boop, just yoop, 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 yoop. But for Impa, one of the characters, she'll use it in a sort of defensive way. When a boss or a semi-boss decides to just guard up, and he'll pull up this little destructible shield that you use, or that you break in order to do the final strike on him. But she will use it to basically break that, or sort of. I'm not sure. I wasn't completely sure. Sort of. I didn't read it anymore than I did. But yeah. Anyways, Zelda. She makes this whole entire thing. It's basically just a robot that throws like multiple bombs. Just little walking robot. Bomb, 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 bomb spewing out of it. Now, if you want to play the game, let me tell you, the demo is out on Nintendo eShop. That's something you got to hear about. It's out on the eShop. Now, hold on. Now, another thing about the game. The voices. Now, of course, the Impa, the Robbie, and the new characters that are being introduced. Now the characters. There's of course new voice actors for these characters since they're a lot younger. But yes, the voice actors, they match very well. I like the voices. They were pretty cool and nifty. Character designs. I loved how they looked. How they were just how they just looked great. They looked awesome. Link looked awesome. Of course, before he was or before he was a champion and had the sword that basically throws Ganon in a box or something. He of course wore soldier armor. He is a soldier after all. But yeah, that was pretty self-explanatory. Impa and Robbie and Impa's sister. Now these characters, they look good. Okay, their designs, they are great. There's a lot of details you can see about them that reflects in their older self. Like Robbie, he's already got them goggles, and when he was younger, so yeah, he does look good. Now, of course, the older sister of Impa, or Impa's older sister, has a very unique design. And when I say unique, I mean she looks almost completely different than Impa. It's kind of hard to tell they were related, except for their hair, maybe the hair. Yeah, you could probably tell by their hair. But yeah, if their hair was a different color, you wouldn't be able to recognize it. So yeah. Now Impa looks a lot like her daughter, of course, or granddaughter, but she looks a lot similar to her, which makes it awesome, you know. So Impa looks like her daughter, Impa's daughter looks like her. In this case, since Impa's older. But yes, it makes sense, Impa has a daughter, so the daughter would look like her. But it was almost kind of shocking how well they looked alike. was almost shocking. I thought, wait a minute, how did you get here? Aren't you supposed to be with your grandma? But yeah, it kind of blew my mind how I saw a young imp. I'm like, whoa, you look exactly like Paya. I'm pretty sure that's her name is Papaya. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, it was a great design, and it makes a lot of sense. It's very big brain. Now Zelda, you know her design. She looks exactly the same. The king, exactly the same. The champions, I haven't seen the champions. That's where the demo cut off. But I will assume they look different since they're not actually the champions yet. But they will look very similar to how they did in Breath of the Wild. I mean, it's not like it's been that long, you know? Anyways, I like the direction the story is going in. I'm really hyped to see what they do next. I love a lot of the details about the game. Now, how would I recommend it to you? Absolutely. If you like these kinds of fight games, uh, fight story games, then go ahead. It's awesome. The abilities are awesome. The story is awesome. Hold on, my bad. But yeah, a lot of the things about this game are awesome. Now, on my tier list of one from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, I'd give it an 8 or a 9. Now, I give it an 8 or a 9 because, well, the story in the beginning is gonna get a little. It's gonna basically contradict. It's gonna be a little different. Now, the story, it in the beginning it doesn't make sense, you know. But later on, I hope that they will explain why this rope. Anyways, uh, I hope they explain how how the story kind of works out better. Now, what else should I explain? No, oh, yeah. Anyways, the story it's okay. In the beginning, it's kind of a little bit crazy. Well, it's a little weird in the beginning, but I hope later on they'll explain it. Now, I don't know how. I'm not sure most of the game, so I'm gonna leave it at a 9 or an 8 because if the game does get bad in the ending or the middle, then well, you know, it's not gonna be the greatest. Now this is the demo and maybe the full release, so if the story does get a little poo poo, then it's gonna be a 9 or an 8. But if the story goes great, along with everything else about the game, then it's an easy 10 in my books. And I would love to recommend it to you. In fact, I might get it if I could. I might be a little broke at the moment, but yes. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, I give you an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Of course, it's not a masterpiece. It's just Zelda, but different. You know, it's more Hyrule Warriors. Anyways, and I'm kind of shocked how they didn't make this part of the DLC of the second Breath of the Wild game. Or, I don't know, put this in the Breath of the Wild game. Maybe this is a prequel to that. Put a pin in that. A pin. Just, boop. You know, boop. Put a pin in that. This game might be a prequel to the second Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Anyways, I recommend you get it. It's awesome. Or at least the demo. It's free. Go on Nintendo eShop, get it. Now, am I sponsored by them? Of course not. I just gave a review. That's all I do. Anyways, I know this is a little different than what I would usually do, but if you like it and want me to do more games or the games that I have on my Switch and give you my commentary or my review and opinions on them, then go ahead. It's completely fine if you don't. I'll go back to gaming. You know, I'll play games, maybe stream them. By the way, I'll probably record maybe either tomorrow or the day after that. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Like, comment, subscribe, And if you want to hear more from me, like ever, hit that bell. So you know the deal. Bye bye.